Right, hopefully a short video today. My children have a lot of tablets, and I bought this probably a couple of years ago. Techlast, whatever it is, had pretty good specifications for a tablet. I didn't want to go buy an Apple for it because I can't stand Apples, if you guys know me. But what's happening is you can see the charging ports brutalized, and it doesn't charge properly. You know, you put it in, it recognises a charge, then it doesn't recognise charge. So what's probably happened is the pins on the back of the micro board for this USB charger has probably become loose. So I'm going to attempt to get into it, but I'll pop out the memory expansion. I think that's probably for like a SIM card or something like that. I don't think there's anything in there, but I'll take it out, because what you do have to do is get into this edge around here and try doing it without cracking the screen. So something thin, the little plastic wedges that I have, I would try and get in there, but yeah, let's start this video. So I'm going to stick a rubber mat down for this. I don't want to lose any pieces, so that can come down in there. See if I can find a pin that can get me in there. Okay, so I've got this little tool that normally comes with mobile phones. These normally go as walkies, don't they? But I managed to find it. And like I said, it doesn't look like there's anything in there. I don't think I have to take this out, but we'll do that anyway. So I'm just going to check to see what edge is more pronounced. It seems the sides. So maybe we start in a corner and try to get in through there. I've got what looks to be like the old ice cream scoops that come with the old things from the ice cream man, but whether that will get us into this groove or not. I've seen a lot of people do this with their nails, but I don't think my nails are going to be strong enough to get down into here, and this plastic isn't strong enough either. So let's try the next thing, which is actually, this is a little scraper tool, but if we can get anything in there just to get it moved away. It's not going in there either. Let's actually remove the edge off of it. So let's try these. They look like guitar picks. Let's try and get in there with this. Cool, it really is clipped on tight. I think I'm going to have to very, very gingerly put one of my metal screwdrivers in. I don't tend to like using metal on these plastic edges, but if you're not getting that in, then you've got no choice, have you? Well, the tablet's come on like 1%. Probably be best that I turn this off. Hopefully that will come back on again later. This could be make or break. Let's hopefully not be break. I'm going to try get in from everywhere else. So this looks like there's a speaker or something down here. So let's try and get in there. Alright, that went in ever so slightly. So what I really need to do is try and wedge it, get a piece of plastic in there, and we can hopefully continue on by using plastic wedges. We've got it started. There we go. So we've actually got it started now. So like I say, I don't tend to like using anything metal, but that seemed to do pretty well there. Just going to go around, try and get to the points where these pop off. Oh. Clip back together again. Alright, so I've managed to get a wedge in there. So I'm just going to work my way around now. It was better for me to pop this in and just slide it down. It seemed to make the clips pop easier. We do love that sound. There we go. Okay, sometimes you'll have a ribbon cable connected to the back. I think most of the time it's probably just the camera module that has a ribbon cable connected to it, but this one, luckily enough, it doesn't, because the camera module's just there. So, closer look at it. So there's the beast of a battery, and there's our charging port right there. So we really need to get to this board here. So I would say this tray here is probably for the battery, so we probably have to take the battery out. And the camera module probably has to come off, and these connectors here will have to come off as well. Tiny little connectors, so you're going to have to use a pair of tweezers. My hands are not the best hands for doing this sort of work, so we're probably going to have to use a scope or something, or my magnifying glass, to even look at this port. But what I'm probably just going to do is reheat this, resolder and reheat it back up again, because it might just be a break in the solder, which is normally the case. So yeah, let's get these tiny little screws out of the way. So I expect this ribbon cable here is the screen feed. Normally these are clip up type affairs, so we need to take this tape So it looks like this is a pop-up lid. We'll just flick that up. Let's be very careful with it. You hear it snap back. There's actually two pieces to this, which is going to make it maybe a little bit awkward later on. There you go, so that's that one out of the way. These two power connectors, these are looks like they're to speakers. And possibly the camera is there. Now we get underneath this piece of tape here as well. Seems to be like heat tape and sticky, like a metal tape and like a rubber tape. This tape is really strong, so be very careful when you're putting it off. This feels like it's going to pull off the components. Again, looks like there's a couple of clip up tabs. Is that a clip up tab? Need to take a closer look at that. So a closer look at the camera cable. I didn't think there was a clip on it, but it looks like the clip had already flicked up. Maybe that's where I took the tape off. It did it, so that there was already up, but it could just be because I pulled the tape from it. Okay, and we also have here the Wi-Fi. Looks like the Wi-Fi plug. It's also very small. This should just pop up. He says. There. Okay, so camera cables, power, Wi-Fi, the two speakers, wherever that is, sorry for the seagulls. Not too sure what that is, must be power again maybe, I don't know, it takes off to there, don't know. And there's your ribbon cable, it goes off to your screen by the looks of it. So we now need to try and get this PCB out of there. Potentially another ribbon cable just there. I say potentially, it definitely looks like there is another ribbon cable there. That's the control buttons on the side. I wonder if that comes up with it. If that comes up with it, I won't bother taking it out, but it doesn't come up with it. So does that pop up? So it looks like it pops up that way. And comes out that way. Okay. Little pin pops up on the right, but you pull it from the left. Right. Okay. Ah, there we go. So there is this tiny board. How small it is. And this is the thing we've got to concentrate on. So I need to get to the back of it. I was hoping the back of this was going to be easily removable like a piece of tape. Right, I'm just going to fold that and fold it back, and hopefully it'll be enough to be able to get in there and have a look at that. It's super tiny, so I'm going to have to get the micro camera out, see if I can find it, and have a look at that. Okay, so it does look on the close-up that this one down here and this one here has come away from its pad. Maybe they've all slightly. Sorry for the image quality, but this is really close in, and this actually is the end of a tweezer, so you can see how small this is. So I think the best thing to probably do is just run a soldering iron across the back and heat these back up, and hope that they sit back down on the pad again. Okay, so I've resoldered the USB back. The very small amount of solder that's on these pins, I made a mistake of putting solder on the tip of the soldering iron, but it made it more complicated. It added too much to it, and I had to take it away again. And then because this little plastic case at the back of the USB port is quite fragile, it started to melt it. So I just had to put some flux on there, get the solder back off that I caused the problem, so I put on there. So don't do that. A gentle touch with the soldering iron is all that was really required. So I'm just going to put it all back together again now, and hopefully it's going to take a charge and power back up. But these little machines are not an easy work on. I'd say just take your time. You pop the screws back in. Remembering the little pointy screw was the one that went around the edge of the USB here. Okay, so I've put all the plugs back together off camera because these are really small, and I was getting a bit angry. So even putting the Wi-Fi pin back on was awkward, and I had to use 2 pairs of tweezers to gently put the ribbon back in and put the clips back down. So I didn't want to record myself swearing and huffing and puffing over it. So I've just put the battery back in. I've not screwed it down yet, so I'll do that now. And then I'll put the back lid on, the back plate on, and we'll see if we can put a charge through it. So, right, that's where the buttons are normal will be, and see this little bit of yellow tape that was put around obviously to hold that button in while they placed it. I seem to have lost a little bit of yellow tape. It probably held that one. That's the bit that I nearly lost, nearly destroyed the whole project. But what I'm going to do is just rest that back in there like that. Click it down there. There you go. So now click in, that one's click in. So I'm just going to put a charge. I don't know what I've done there. What's this? Select boot mode. Volume is okay. I'll leave that on normal. I don't know what that was. I think I inadvertently went into some menu there. So I'm going to put a charge through this, and hopefully it will power up and my little one will be happy again. So it's been plugged in for a few minutes. There you go, so she's starting to charge up again. I will let it fully charge, power it up, make sure it goes into its operating system, and then make sure it recognises a charge in the operating system. And then happy days, it can go, my daughter can use it again. Right, let's check, see where we're at now. 21%. Right, I'm just going to press and hold. I'm actually going to unplug, press and hold, and make sure the tablet powers up. So there we go. Tech last. So there we go. Okay, so the battery's now saying 20%, you know, rather than nothing. So there's all the bits and bobs. So let's plug this in. Sound effect, and it's now showing charge kicking in at the top there. So happy days, everybody. Tablet back up and running. Lillian's going to be happy. See you in the next one.